Hello again, welcome back. Now I'm going to look at what the hell is this with the final program. Now, the final program was directed by Robert Faust, and who also wrote it. And Faust, he's done a lot of films. The Doctor Fives films, which were fun, you know. But after this one, he did Devil's Reign, and his career just kind of fell away. So as one of those directors, he started off in Avengers and all those big, you know, like campy, stylish '60s films. So he moved up from there and did the Doctor Fives films. Also did well with Vincent Price. So now he had a chance to do what he wanted to do, and what he wanted to do was the final program, which was uh, a Michael Moorcock novel with the main character Jerry Cornelius, who is this very '60s figure. Well, because they shot us in the '70s, who was ambiguous, sexually ambiguous, morally ambiguous. Was just a kind of an agent of chaos within the world. Very intelligent, a scientist, had an extended family, all very complicated, all sort of unique and unusual. It needed a certain kind of hand to deliver it. It needed someone who could mix the kind of world characters with a plot that worked and keep people interested. We did not get that in this film. We got what was a complete mess. This is one of the weakest films I've covered. This, what the hell is this? This is an abomination as an adaptation. I've never actually read the final program, but Michael Moorcock, who wrote it, was not a fan of this film. He actually said that he was glad the film failed because if it had succeeded, it would have lowered his any respect he had for the film-going audience. So actually, the film failing gave him a bit more hope in the intelligence of the audience because it was such a bad film. And you can see where it's coming from. This is a plotless, seemingly plotless story. It actually does have a plot, but the way it's directed is so fragmented and so uninterested that it feels plotless. It feels like you just wander from one thing to the next all the time. You don't feel like any progression has been made ever. It just, but they don't seem to know. It's a film that needed someone who understood to give it kind of a narrative line and would allow it to be weird and interesting ways. Instead, Robert Faust he just was a director who did like narratives that were written by other people or planned out and the Avengers and stuff, and they had to have a narrative progression throughout to keep it going and keeping it working. So his films were not about the mood as much. And that's what you needed here was someone who could do the mood. You need a European director who could understand the mood. If you look at the 10th Victim, which is another, it's a film from the '60s. Elio Petri did it, and he it was based on a Robert Sheckley story, and that was also a bit over the top with visuals, but it was a film made by a director who understood how the where he could stop the film and allow himself to wander a little bit, and where he had to stick to narrative beats to keep people interested. This film has no concept of that. This just film just says we'll throw this stuff at the screen, hope for the best, and hope people will be interested. And we won't really have to set up the narrative threat too much. It just happens, and things just happen, and people wonder when and start talking, and there's so many things that could be really cool that are not. And it's one of those frustrating films. Is this could have been a really good film with the right person in charge of it. And what's really annoying is John Finch as Cornelius has the potential to be really good in the part, but he's given nothing to do. It's just one of those things where he's an interesting presence in the film, but when you're always watching an actor who's wondering when he's going to get some good material because he just has that feeling of I'm trying my best here. I could do this if you gave me something good. I can be funny if you want, but give me something good, and he never gets it, and it's like really frustrating because like well, you cast a good actor, and if you'd shaped it, it would have been fine. Other performances are less good. You have Sterling Hayden showing up in one scene as this army general who's barking orders, and why he's in the films? Because you need a big star for the film. So they pay him for a day of work, and that's it. There are weird 70s sets when they go to different places to investigate. There's Jerry's got a brother Frank who's a drug addict. He's a sister who's been addicted because of Frank. He's got lots of characters that could be interesting. Again, they're played by decent actors who are given like nothing to do. Patrick McGee shows up at one point as this like old scientist who's trying to cash in and make money off the whole mess of this weird plot. And Patrick McGee's always good, but he's not given much to do, and it's like it's pretty much like did the check clear? Fine, I'll say this dialogue. What the hell is it about? I don't care. I'm off to the pub. You know, it's that kind of performance. I'm off to the pub type of performance. And a lot of the character actors in the background probably feel the same way. It's a sense of no one understood. Apparently, Moorcock went on set one day, and he was saying he saw what they were doing. It was like, didn't they know it's a comedy? But they know it's meant to be funny. And he said it to a few actors, and they was like, "Oh, that's what we're supposed to be doing." Because I think they kind of wondered. So I don't think the actors really were getting the direction needed for this thing. I think was to the best, and that kind of sense of dislocation of tone and character and the mood with all these kind of bizarre special effects that look fake and look very sexy, very Avengers. And they're going through a house filled with traps, but all the traps are made of very dodgy looking material you'd probably see in play school later. There's lots of stuff like that going on, and it's like, but not a sense of this is the wit to really send it up properly. There's a sense of sometimes the thing it can be funny, but it's never really doesn't cohere into anything that actually keeps you interested or has a world you're fascinated by. It's just a bunch of weird stuff on the screen, and like, maybe it'll work, maybe it doesn't though. It's just like there's these events, and the final program is meant to be this evolutionary thing that's. And there's this character who's meant to be used in the machine that who hangs around for most of the film and then gets shot before he can do anything, which should be funny, but it's not. It's just like it's a scene. This thing happened in this scene. The whole film is that feeling. There's a sequence where the Miss Brunner, who's the antagonist who's chasing Jerry, was trying to kill him half the time, and you think she's gay, and then you find out she actually just basically absorbs the energy of all the lovers. So after they made love, she absorbs them into herself to keep herself going, which could have been so cool as a concept to really play around the idea, but nothing comes of it. It's like the director thinks having it in there, that's all you need. That's everything you need. So there's no idea of like, here's a director like John Boorman would do something that Zard does, where he's really into the idea, sometimes to the point of absurdity, but he's really playing with the ideas and trying to make sense of them and try to find rhythm metaphors for things. And here it's just like weird shit happens. It's a sci-fi movie. I mean, even stuff like Omega Man and Soylent Green, made by Americans in the same time period, were taking things seriously and actually trying to do dystopian science fiction. They were trying. And this one was based on a book that, I mean, they were both based on sci-fi books for America, and they were trying. This one, oh yeah, we'll take this funny book and see what we can do with it, but we're not going to actually work out what its strengths and weaknesses are. We're just going to throw stuff up on the screen. So you basically get half an hour of setup, which is incoherent and just weird. And I like weird, incoherent films. I can watch lots of them. I can really put the effort to try and make sense of things that maybe don't make sense. And even this one defeated me completely. It was like, I don't think there's actually any flow of logic to direction writing this film. I think it's just this scene goes here, this scene goes there. It'll make sense in the film, I think. And it's just that feeling. There's no sense of build of a world. There's no sense of build of character. There's just no sense of anything. It's just a sense of we're throwing stuff at the screen. We're just hoping some of it works, and none of it works. It's just a complete mess. So Final Program is just a strange film. There's not much to really recommend beyond showing to people who are going to do something ambitious and say, look, this is how it could go wrong. Do not do what this guy did. Like, watch how he does not build up the pacing, the characters, the world, doesn't explain the world, doesn't explain people's places in the world, doesn't explain anything like that. You have to try and suggest that. And that's the big thing, is sometimes a disaster is more worthwhile for what it shows you what not to do than what it actually does. So that's probably the only thing this film has going for it. It's got a weird ending where Jerry and Miss Brunner combine into one new creature, this new evolutionary creature who turns out to be Neanderthal. Why? Who knows? It's just they've given up and they don't have a clue. It's supposed to be a creature that's beyond humanity, and it ends up being a Neanderthal, and it's just a weird ending. It doesn't really work. It's like someone saw 2001 and thought, let's do that, and it just cuts the feet from the rest of the film, which has already been done by the director for most of the film. But the end is especially bad, and again, it's like that's a really cool idea of combining this male and female character, both of them are geniuses, and see what comes out. They don't have a clue. So it's a total mess. So, but you can see it on streaming. There's plenty of places having streaming. I'm sure you can buy in DVD and video, but this is just awful. So awful. So that's my video on it. I can't go on any more about it. It's just too painful to think about, especially in this heat. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be back soon with some more. Bye.